So, and he was strong too. Like, don't get it twisted either. He was like a strong villain too, especially for that time. That's why he was the captain for a reason. He obviously wreaked havoc with that body snatching technique, which I get it. I wish he would have just. I wish he would have kind of kept to the whole. He just was just strong, but that's the direction they decided to go. That kind of took some points off from him. If he didn't do the body snatching thing, if I'm being honest with you, he probably would be in the A tier because he just was that strong. He really was that strong. But because of that body snatching technique and I don't know, him being a frog, I guess it kind of dropped some points off for me. I am going to put him. He got to go above Nappa. He's got to go above Raccoon too. Come on. He's ahead of the B tier. He's ahead of the B tier. Okay. This is supposed to be Frieza first. Alright, I'm not wasting any time. I'll just get right into it. Straight from the get-go, Frieza's S tier. Frieza's the best villain on Dragon Ball Z. From his impact, to his cunningness, to the fact that every day you came home, you was racing to see Goku versus Frieza fight. He's the reason why Goku became a Super Saiyan. Frieza's a fan favorite. Frieza is all the things that make up a kid's nightmare when you're really into a show. He's that good of a villain. He's an S tier villain. He's the first S tier villain. He's always going to be an S tier villain. He deserves to be an S tier villain. Let's just keep it real. That 5 minute, was it supposed to be 5 minutes on Namek when it blew up? Lasted for like 10 hours. But Frieza is like an S tier villain. He cannot be no lower than that. Based on that. Alright, so we're at the halfway point. Not at the halfway. We are at the halfway point. I think the Android series and the Cell Saga is the same. Or maybe it's not. I'm calling this the halfway point. So one disclaimer, at this point I think Dragon Ball Z started to fall off the map. I think that it reached its high with Frieza and it started to go down from there. The decline wasn't a strong dip, but we're going to get into that probably in a little bit into this video, but I'm making another video specifically for that. King Cole, this is Frieza's dad. Again, didn't really do anything. I don't know if he was supposed to be stronger than his son at one point, or he was supposed to be strong at all. But he didn't do anything for me, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. And the fact of the matter is, I think I probably was tired of Frieza at this point too. And because he looked like Frieza, I just really didn't care and I wasn't invested at that point. But nevertheless, he just wasn't a good villain to me. He really didn't do anything for me. He reminded me of his son Frieza a lot, but not nearly as impactful or not nearly as intimidating, to say the least, as Frieza. I'm putting King Cole in the C tier, and I'm going to put him right here. He belongs right there. That's where King Cole goes. That's where he's staying, most likely. Okay. All right, now we get into the Android series. Now, from what I remember watching an interview, the creator of the Dragon Ball Z series created these androids, and then the corporate told him to create another character, and they ended up making Cell. That was a fun fact for y'all. That may not be entirely accurate, so I'm pretty sure somebody will tell me about that. I don't know why the androids get stronger as the number goes down, though. Could somebody please explain to me how Android 20 and 19 is weaker than 18, 17, and 16? And it makes no sense. And this is an example of when it started to go downhill. Again, it wasn't a big dip because of how high it was initially, but we definitely have some problems with the Dragon Ball Z series going from here. All right, Android 20. This one things kind of got interesting for me too, which is kind of, I know, two different things I'm saying here, but I did like it when they started to kind of got past the Super Saiyan series and tried to ascend to a higher height. and it took them a long time to actually reach that next level. But for the most part, I remember Vegeta fighting Android 20 and going to Super Saiyan. I remember saying to myself, yes. To put it plainly, I remember saying, yes, he deserves it. Vegeta deserves it, damn it. Android 20, again, he didn't have that much screen time, not too much personality, not too much anything, really. He was an android. He really did come across as an android. Like, he was the most android of the androids, if that makes any sense. I'm going to put him in a C tier. Obviously, he did beat Goku up, but that was because Goku was injured, or sick, rather. I am going to put him ahead of King Cole. He got to go ahead of King Cole. This is like, I'm actually tempted to put somebody in the D tier because I feel like the C tier is stacking up too much. But for now, I'm going to put him. This is like crazy that I got the Cyberman like still holding strong. I got the Cyberman holding strong in the C tier. Well, no, I'm gonna leave it just like this for now. I feel good with this one. I'm pretty sure you guys' tier list is going to be different. I'm feeling pretty good right now about this tier list. So that's why I'm gonna put Android 20 right there in the C tier, third from the top. Or your number 3 in the C tier. Dr. Gero himself, aka Android 19, the creator of all of these androids. This dude was, I remember the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this picture was how fast this dude was. This dude was stupid fast. He was faster than he was like the same speed of Cell in his first form. It was crazy. I remember him bodying Yamcha too, which is funny. Dr. Gero. When I first saw Dr. Gero, he came across as an intimidating guy, I'm gonna be honest with you. He was very mysterious too, for some reason, to me. And he did seem strong. Turns out he wasn't that strong. And he didn't really have anything special about him. He didn't have any special techniques or anything. I think he can shoot lasers out of his eyes, if I remember. Let me know if he does shoot lasers out of his eyes. I do remember that. I know he can drain energy. That I do remember. Dr. Gero, to me, was just a character designed to make you anticipate other characters. And for that reason, I have to put him in the C tier. Again. Yeah, he's going to C tier. Sorry, he got to go in the C tier too. He's going to go with his buddy. He's going to go with his guy, Android 20. I'm gonna put it right here. Only because, yeah. Actually, I'll put him ahead of Android 2019. Because that's his creator. And I feel like he did a little bit more damage to him. Yeah, that's good. So now we got the androids, the real androids. Android 18, 17. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is my bias speaking. I'm gonna be real with you, but Android 17 and 18 gonna go in the A tier. I'll put both of them in A tier. I'm not even gonna waste neither one of y'all time. I'm going right after both of them from the rip. Android 18, let's start with Android 18. Android 18 beat the crap out of Vegeta. From that moment on, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Android 18 broke Vegeta's arm. And every time Vegeta gets injured, he always does the same exact pose. And the theory, I think I watched a YouTube video, was the theory was that that arm never fully healed. So whenever he gets injured, he automatically reverts to that arm because it's more susceptible to injury. That's a little much of a stretch for me, but 17 and 18 was the coolest villains. I don't know if they technically was villains, particularly in Goku's timeline. In Trunks' timeline, they were savages, but they didn't really do anything in Goku's timeline. So I know that most people won't have them that high, but I thought that they had a lot of potential. They obviously was super strong. I really like their personality. I like the fact that, again, they had some level of honor as a warrior, because when 18 was fighting Vegeta and the Z fighter were about to jump in. 17 is like, we all for fair fights here. If y'all guys jump in, I'm gonna jump in. But other than that, we're gonna keep this a fair fight. So again, that's my bias talking, but because of their strength, their personality, I gotta put them in the A tier. And that's my bias talking, which this is why it's my tier list. 16 I wasn't a huge fan of. 16 to me really didn't do anything. He almost did something, but he couldn't because of his detonator being taken out. His sole purpose, if I remember, was to kill Goku. He obviously wasn't able to even accomplish it. He didn't even fight Goku. None of these androids, I believe, fought Goku. Except for Android 20. But I'm going to put Android 16 because I believe he's stronger than 17 and 18 too, by the way. Although that shouldn't matter because it's about everything for me that I have yet to explain to you guys. I am going to put Android 16 in the B tier, and I am going to put him in the back of the B tier, believe it or not, because I just don't think he did anything. And yeah, he was like Android 20 in terms of like that real Android robot personality. The difference between the two of them was Android 16 did love nature, so you did see the human side of him a little bit more. Cell. I'm going to tell you right now, I believe Cell is an S tier villain too. He's not going to be, spoiler alert, nobody's going to buff Frieza. So y'all can just kick that right now. But I do believe that he deserves to be in the S tier as well. I really love the idea of Cell in terms of he has the cells of all these different people into one. I really love that concept. I thought that was a great job. I also love the fact that Cell was trying to fight the strongest people. He wanted to fight them at their highest peak. Frieza is not really a big fan of that. Frieza is going to try to get rid of you as fast as he can before you become what he might fear. Cell, on the other hand, is more like, I want you to be at your best, and then I want to beat you. And through my understanding, that's because of some of his cells are Saiyans, and because of that, he wants to be kind of like a Saiyan, which Saiyans love to beat warriors at their best, like Goku and Vegeta. I know that he did a couple of different techniques from other people. I know he did the solar flare. If I remember, he did the destructo disc. I don't remember him doing anything else from other people. I think he did Kamehameha. I don't think he did anything from Frieza though. So, but I think Cell is an S tier villain. I think that his personality was funny too. He had a really good personality. So yeah, Cell is an S tier villain for sure. Probably outside of this Frieza and Goku fight, the Gohan and Cell fight is number 2 for me in terms of best fights I saw in that series. Number 3, surprisingly for me, is the fight between Android 17 and Piccolo. If you don't remember that fight, I recommend you guys go back and watch it. That was a really good fight between those two. So go back and watch that. That was a really good fight. You can actually watch the Dragon Ball Z Kai one. It probably does it more justice. Okay, I believe this guy's name is Dabura. I keep calling him Dabura, but I think his name is Dodoria. And his name is Dabura. Dabura had a lot of potential too. This guy was the king of demons, even though I believe Piccolo in Dragon Ball was the king of demons, if I recall. But he had a lot of potential, this guy. I remember he could spit on you and turn you to stone. He was strong. Gave off really good villain vibes, if that makes any sense. I loved his sword. I loved his outfit. I loved his presence. So for me, Dabura, I ain't gonna waste you guys' time. Dabura is the head of the B tier for me right now. Obviously, again, his potential was cut short because of the characters after him, villains after him. But I thought Dabura was a great villain. Not a great villain, but a really good villain who could have had way more potential if they would have given him more screen time. So I'll put him ahead of the B tier, and that's the best I can do for him. But I think he was a really good villain, very underrated in my opinion.